While the fighting between the Palestinian militant group Hamas and the State of Israel may be on pause for the time being, both sides have declared victory following a ceasefire that was declared 2 weeks ago, following 11 days of fighting, the worst seen in years. At least 243 people, including more than 100 women and children, were killed in Gaza, according to its health ministry. Israel has said it killed at least 225 militants during the fighting. Hamas has not given casualty figures for fighters. In Israel, 12 people, including 2 children, were killed, according to its medical services. One group watching it all play out from Bermuda is the Facebook group Bermudian Palestinian Solidarity Committee, or BPSC. The group has issued a joint statement on the conflict alongside SJB. BPSC sees the Palestinian issue as a human rights one that Bermuda should be outraged by. BPSC member Jonathan Starling, well-versed on international issues, told us there are underlying issues.
What are these issues?
Other than crimes against humanity and apartheid? I would say those are the main issues.
When you say apartheid, who is committing the apartheid?
Israel. The state of Israel is committing apartheid.
The role of the United States in brokering a peace deal came into focus with the U.S. vetoing a draft UN Security Council resolution calling for a ceasefire, later stating that it would have interfered with the Biden administration's efforts to end hostilities.
Israel has the support of the United States, and isn't that more important at the end of the day? They have the backing of the most powerful country in the world. What does that say about it?
That doesn't mean that they're not an apartheid state. It just means that Israel serves an important role for the American empire. Israel is guilty of breaking numerous UN resolutions.
Asked why Bermuda residents should care about the crisis in the Middle East between Israel and Palestine, Mr. Starling replying,
I think if you are a fundamentally decent person who opposes apartheid and injustice anywhere in the world, you should take an issue. You should take an interest in the issue.
The BPSC and SJB call on the public to boycott Israeli-made products, including food products and companies that do business with the Jewish state. However, Dr. Fiona Elkinson disagrees. She is the president of the Jewish Community of Bermuda. She told Bermuda Broadcasting News the situation is very complicated, while expressing sympathies for the victims of the fighting on both sides.
We all want peace. Unfortunately, the situation is very complicated and there are no easy solutions. In the past, Israel has demonstrated a willingness to make hard sacrifices for peace. Israel withdrew from Gaza many years ago, including removing all of its settlements there. The real problem is that both sides have to compromise, and Gaza is ruled by Hamas, which is a terrorist organization, which sent thousands of missiles towards Israel with the intent to wipe out the people who live there and exterminate the Jewish race.
The Bermuda Palestinian Solidarity Committee and SJB in their statement accuse Israel of practicing apartheid against Palestinians. Can you justify Israel's actions?
Yeah, the term apartheid relates to a very specific South African regime of separation and enforced inequality that bears no resemblance with the situation of Israeli Arabs. Israel wants peace, Hamas wants extinction. The quest for the destruction of Israel has been sustained over many decades,